Okay, we're continuing with where we left off with Miles' investigation. Oh, sorry. Miles Edgeworth, the game. I'm not going to call it investigations. March 12th, 2:52 p.m. Flight G390, lower deck cargo hold. Wow, so this is the cargo hold, huh? Oh, it's so big. This plane is a special model. It has both a super large cargo hold and ultra luxurious first class seating. So this is the real scene of the murder. There is certainly a high probability of that, which is why we're here, correct? Okay, let's get investigating, sir. Let's go. Let's talk to Francisca. You arrived at the scene of the crime before Detective Gumshoe, correct? And you then immediately began to direct the investigation. It seems to me that you were already here at this airport for something besides this murder. Yes, I was. Why at this airport? I've been following a very large and involved governmental level international crime, which is it's much too large for one person to take on alone, so I decided that I should form a joint investigation with Interpol. Francisca came to this airport as an Interpol liaison. Interpol is involved? It's a top secret operation, so I really can't tell you any more than I already have. Okay, let's see. Keeping track of this many pieces of cargo must be very taxing on the cargo crew. It sure brings back memories of when I worked as a part-time mover, sir. By the look on his eyes, he's waiting for me to ask about the rest of the story. But no matter how he pours on the puppy eyes, I have no intention of doing so. No! Also, Gumshoe really does have puppy eyes, man. He's literally a golden retriever. Okay, what the hell is this big-ass thing here? I didn't know that this plane was capable of carrying such large pieces of cargo. This thing's as tall as two of you on top of each other, sir. It would probably take 20 of you to cover the entire surface of this monstrosity. What, really? I guess that sounds about right. There's really no need to take that throwaway estimate seriously, Detective. Holy suitcases, Mr. Edgeworth. It's like an all-you-can-use suitcase fair. This must be all the leftover ones they couldn't sell. The ones that company is planning to dispose of after the fight is over. This paint job is really cool, don't you think? It practically screams artsy. Oh, why not purchase one then? I'm sure it will bring you much happiness. You think so? Then maybe I will. Let's see here. $1,200? I think I'll pass. And Mr. Nero wonders why they don't sell. You'll need 2 jobs just to buy one. Also, it definitely looks like one is missing. What is this brittle substance I'm stepping on? It's a bunch of glass fragments. It's the glasses. We can do that in the logic stuff. Let me examine everything and we'll do that. Hey, what's with the suitcase, pal? It's what the victim checked in, sir. So this suitcase belonged to Mr. Hicks. I don't think he'll mind if you took a closer look. There's nothing out of the ordinary in here, sir. Wait, a file? And there's a photo of Miss Von Karma in it, sir. It looks like a file on Francisca. Why did Mr. Hicks have document on Francisca? Interpol! He must be part of an organization. Why would Mr. Hicks have had a file on her? Let's check here. All sort of boxes are piled up here. This one says flammable and this one it says pharmaceuticals. This one says for exorcism use only. Just what kind of operation is this airline running? Oh, I just love pushing the buttons on elevators and crosswalk signals. Here, you should give it a try, sir. Go on, push it. The elevator is currently stopped on the first floor, Detective. It can't move. Oh yeah, I guess nothing would happen if you pushed it now. Well, nothing would happen normally anyway without this special key card. Both the doors to the attendant's room and the elevator's control panels require a key card which makes it impossible for a passenger to come down here. Okay, is there anything else? Let's talk to this guy. Have you not noticed anything strange happening around here? No, sir, I haven't noticed a thing. I'm not sure that he meant to sound so oblivious. Okay, let's do some logic. Broken glass, glass shards. Connect. I think we can safely conclude that these fragments are from a pair of glasses. And the victim was wearing a pair of broken glasses. Exactly what I was thinking. I'm sure that the shards would match up perfectly with the remnants of his glasses lenses. Ergo, the victim was here just as I suspected. So you're saying that the real scene of the crime was here, sir? Isn't that what I've been saying for a while now? Oh, is it? I didn't know that. Perhaps it's a bit early to draw that conclusion. However, I believe that the probability has just skyrocketed considerably. All that's left is to find the murder weapon. Okay, profile on Francisca, and Francisca came to this airport as an Interpol liaison. Now, why would Mr. Hicks have documents profiling Francisca? Oh, I know, I bet he's a big fan of Miss Von Karma, sir. Francisca said that she had come to this airport as part of an Interpol investigation. Or maybe Mr. Hicks had heard she was coming here and he followed her. Detective, I think it's more likely that Mr. Hicks was, in actuality, Interpol agent Hicks. Oh, he was an Interpol agent! I think Francisca has some explaining to do. Truth behind Hicks. You came to this airport to rendezvous with the victim, didn't you? Nonsense! What are you talking about? We found a profile detailing information about you and the victim's luggage. I suppose it was prepared for him so that he could recognize you when he landed. Which makes him not Mr. Hicks, but rather Interpol agent Hicks, isn't that correct? I should have known you'd figure it out, Miles. It looks like they got to him first. So you really did come here to receive an Interpol agent then? Yes. Agent Hicks was on the trail of a very large international smuggling ring. Okay. He went undercover to investigate this crime, and it was I who put him on this case. I was supposed to receive a call from him on his cell phone once he had landed. I never expected to receive a call about his murder instead. I think we now have pretty definitive evidence that Agent Hicks came down here to the cargo hold. But what was he doing down here, sir? There's nothing but luggage. Oh, I get it. Maybe he forgot something in his suitcase and came down to get it. Ow! Agent Hicks came here for a work-related reason, of course that I'm sure. Yes, I'm sure he was here to investigate the smuggling operation he was observing. Francisca, do you know exactly how he intended to pursue his investigation? No, unfortunately I was going to find out from him after he landed. I see, but this raises another question. A normal passenger can't access the cargo hold on their own. Agent Hicks must have identified himself to a member of the crew and entered the cargo hold with that person who let him in. Yes, and then he was murdered here. These glass fragments and his broken glasses are testament to that. And then the killer put Agent Hicks into one of the spare suitcases and they entered the elevator, but while they were riding it up, the plane hit that patch of turbulence. Because of the intense shaking, the suitcase popped open and Agent Hicks' body flew out. At the same time, his wallet flew out of his pocket, spilling its contents everywhere. Which explains why there was money scattered all over the elevator floor. Investigation complete. I think it's pretty easy to say who the culprit is at this stage. What? Really, sir? I know what you're thinking, Miles Edgeworth, but the killer can be none other than Miss Rhoda Tenero. Definitive evidence. If it was a crew member, any of them could have shown Agent Hicks the cargo hold. But the point to keep in mind is the key card that allows the elevator to come down here. The only person with such high-level access is Miss Rhoda Tenero. I'll say that that's a pretty decisive piece of information, wouldn't you? I know what she's trying to say, but I'm not certain it's as simple as that. Rebuttal time. Okay, let's press this.
Hold it!
That might be true, but then it could be anyone, including Miss Mealy or even the captain. Don't be a fool. A plane without a pilot in the cockpit is... Oh my god, cockpit is like a horse without a rider, crop in hand, much like Scruffy over there. I can't disagree with her on that. Detective Gumshoe does always need a guiding hand. Very well, then what about the other flight attendant, Miss Mealy? I thought you might ask about her. But the point to keep in mind is the key card that allows the elevator to come down here.
Hold it!
But it's highly likely the key card was stolen from Miss Tenero. It's highly likely? Is that possibly the best you can come up with? You call yourself a disciple of my father. Yes, well, while I don't have any evidence, Be quiet, you're a disgrace. There's more evidence pointing to Miss Rhoda Tenero, you know. It's not just the key card that gives her away. Are you talking about the murder weapon, the Captain Ugo piggy bank? Yes, she is also the only person with the key to open the display case. Further, there's the barrel of the key to the display case that held the murderous weapon. On the inside and left in the attendance room, the timestamp says 5:40 AM. Just as Mr. Tenero said, the timestamp says she bought the suitcase at 5:40 AM.
Hold it!
But that is a fake. Stop right there, Miles Edgeworth. You don't have any proof that this is just a red herring. If you must keep on insisting that it's a fake, then what is the real murder weapon and where did it go? Speechless, I see. That's not a surprise. After all, you know that we have searched the entire cargo hold and came up empty-handed. There must be a way. There must be something that can help me rule out the piggy bank as the murder weapon. What should be examined further to help us ascertain the authenticity of the weapon? Oh, I got no clue. Piggy bank. We should examine the bank itself once put it to remind if it is the real murder weapon. If this is the real weapon, it should be damaged or perhaps have a dent on it somewhere. We've looked into that already and there is no sign of anything on it. But we can't discount it as the murder weapon on that one fact alone. The piggy bank is, after all, made of a stronger material than human flesh. Dude, if I can't prove it through the piggy bank itself, then I must find another way. Crime scene. Okay, I am going to be wrong in all this. I think we should examine the crime scene in more detail. I mean, I should have realized. We did examine the whole crime scene. It might turn out the murder weapon if we search all of the cargo and luggage. Do you think I hadn't thought of that? Even now we're searching through them. But we haven't found anything that even closely resembles a murder weapon. Alright then. I suppose we should examine something else. The body. Francisca, I think you were too quick to jump to your conclusions. Oh, was I? Yes, we don't even have the autopsy results yet. How can I not say that you made a snap judgment when you have yet to even see if the wound on Agent Hicks' head is consistent with the murder weapon? Scruffy? Yes, sir. Contact the medical examiner's office at once. I wish to hear the results of Agent Hicks' autopsy. Yes, sir. We've got a big problem, Mr. Edgeworth, sir. What is it, detective? They're still doing the autopsy, but they said what they already know this one thing for sure. Report, now. The doc said that it's one giant bruise from a beating from his shoulder down to his mid-back. From the victim's shoulder to his mid-back, he was beaten over such a wide area? Well, I'll say maybe it's a sign that the killer had a grudge against Agent Hicks. It wasn't just his head. The killer went all out and hit him multiple times, sir. Instantaneous death resulting from blow to the back of the head. Bruising head to mid-back. Scruffy, what is had a grudge against Agent Hicks supposed to mean? Well, that's, Was the wound on the victim's head consistent with the murder weapon, detective? Oh well, they said they were still looking into that, sir. You're completely useless. He's doing his best. Sir, I told you already, you can't go down there. No, you remove yourself from my way. What is all that racket? My luggage, my cargo, they're mine and I demand you return them to me. We're still investigating the cargo hold. Please understand and have a little patience. I suppose there is no choice. Finally, I think he gave... Hey, what are you? You have left me no choice but to use strong first. Ah! You won't get past me. This is... Wait. That's it. That's what this whole thing has been about. Further, there's the matter of the key to the display case that held the murderous bank. Is there some way for me to prove that this isn't the real murder weapon? Did he fall down? After all, you know what, we searched the entire cargo hold and came up empty-handed? Nobody could find anything that could be considered the real weapon in the hold. Doc said there's one giant bruise from a beating from his shoulder down to his mid-back. He was pushed. Some way for me to prove that this isn't the real murder weapon. Okay, oh wait, oh my god, I'm an idiot. Is it this? Is it this? Oh my god, I'm an actual idiot. I'm such an idiot! Allegedly, the killer struck the victim many times over, which is why there is extensive bruising over such a wide area. But is that really the correct conclusion to draw from the evidence? The bruise from his shoulder to the middle of his back is one continuous mark, which is more suggestive of a single blow to the back. If that's the case, this piggy bank is much too small to have caused that. I'm such an idiot, man. God, therefore the murder weapon must be something far bigger. And the weapon couldn't be found, and a sizable weapon. Connect. If you're looking for a rather large weapon, you'll think it would stick out. But so far, we haven't found anything that resembles a weapon of any sort. Perhaps, just perhaps, it's something we all overlooked from the very beginning. Because normally, it's too impossibly big to be taken into consideration. What was that all about? Was he trying to jump his way down here? Francisca? What? What do you want? I found it, Francisca. I found the real murder weapon. You did? He really jumped. We didn't realize it until now, but the answer has been right in front of us this whole time. He might be hurt. We should go check up on him, sir. There's that pompous attitude of yours again. You should learn to drop that habit. He's coming from a prosecutor with a habit of whipping everyone she comes across. And anyway, if you really are a prosecutor, then you'll back yourself up with evidence. You two aren't listening at all, are you? Come on then, show me this real murder weapon you speak of. I might have evidence and I might not have evidence. Like, I can really point to it, and I also maybe I can show. What about the picture which was there with the guy? Don't have evidence to show. I don't have any evidence to show you. Foolish reasoning for a foolish fool from a foolishly foolish fool meant to fool me. What do you mean by I don't have any evidence to show? Perhaps I should have phrased it as that which caused Agent Hicks' death is incorporeal. Forgive me, but I do believe I've figured out what was the real cause of death. Free fall. The victim fell from a great height and subsequently died as a result. In other words, the real cause of death is free falling to the ground. He fell to his death? Yes, this is the only plausible possibility. The victim has extensive bruising on the back of his head and his back, and the only rational explanation for these injuries is that he fell to his death. The murder happened inside this plane. I know. Are you claiming that there is some place in this plane from which he could have fallen from? As I said earlier, the answer has been right in front of us the entire time. You can't mean... Yes, I do. The victim fell from the top of the stairs of this very cargo hold. What? You're in trouble. We may have a second death on our hands, sirs. Hey, you! Tell me you aren't dead, pal. Why are you screaming? He's alive. And there you have it, Miles Edgeworth. It's not possible that Agent Hicks fell over the railing to his death. But maybe the box wasn't there before. That man is a living proof of that. I suppose it's true that it's not possible, given the current circumstances. The current circumstances? What is that supposed to mean? Suppose that large piece of cargo wasn't there at the time. What would have happened then? He would have been a Burgundian pancake for sure, sir. I suppose that man over there wouldn't still be breathing. But the reality is that the cargo box is there, so there's no point in entertaining your wild hypothetical scenarios. It may be there now, but there is no proof that it was always there. Ha! As if there could have been a window of time when the giant box was not there. Ah, but there was. What? What can I use to show that it's possible the box was not always there where it is now? I think I know, but I just need to double check. This one. To refuel at a transfer point. This flight will make a brief stop, refuel and transfer cargo in the Republic of Zhengfa between 4 and 5 AM. We ask that all passengers remain on board at the time. Thank you for cooperation.
Take that!
You refueled in the Republic of Zhengfa? Yes, this flight had a short layover in Zhengfa in order to refuel. But that wasn't the only reason for the layover. We also transferred some cargo. What if the box in question was only transferred onto the plane at that time? To further prove my point, let's take a look at what's next to the box in question. It's labeled Zhengfa Express. Correct, meaning it was loaded onto the plane in Zhengfa. Now, what if the box in question was also loaded on at the same time? It would mean that the box was not there in the cargo hold during the Europe-Zhengfa leg of the flight, making a clear drop from which Agent Hicks could have fallen to his death entirely possible. But your theory is still very far-fetched. Then allow me a chance to prove how very likely my scenario is. My first order of business will be to examine that piece of cargo in more detail. Begin investigation. Lower deck cargo hold. This is rather a large piece of cargo. There's a tag on it, sir. Let's see. A lift red statue. Never heard of it. Nor I, but all I care about is if we can prove it wasn't here at the time of the crime. So let's go investigating, sir. What are you going to say? Look here, do not go about touching my possessions without my permission. Don't rush upon me like that, pal. This belongs to Mr. LeBlanc, does it? I should see what else I can find out from him. Okay, let's talk. LeBlanc's cargo. I take it that this large piece of cargo belongs to you, Mr. LeBlanc. Of course it is mine. I shipped this fine piece of art from Europe. This Alifred statue is worth 10 million cents. No, maybe much more. Mr. LeBlanc's reason for choosing this plane must have been the large cargo hold. 10 million cents? I suggest you stop trying to calculate how many packs of noodles that makes, detective. Darn, how did you do that? Feel like you keep getting better and better at seeing right through me every year. Though I grow with each revolution of the planet around the sun, I have the distinct impression he continues to madly spin in place. Hey, Mr. Edgeworth, so that 10 million cents, is that in euros or in dollars? Will it really make a difference to our case? Mr. LeBlanc, there is a chance that your cargo is related to our murder case. I was wondering if you would allow us to examine it a bit closer. It is a very valuable piece of art, so no, there will be no touching. Okay, I'm gonna present this. Why do you always show me something of no value? Show me the bread first and maybe we'll talk. Wait, he wants me to pay him before he'll comment on this? But I feel like it's this, in my opinion. The leftover suitcases sit here lined up in two pretty neat rows. Too bad for Mr. Nero, but this design is unmarketable. I'll buy one if it was cheaper, sir. Do you think they'll sell it to me at a discount? Oh, or why don't they sell them in the airport and have a bargain basement sale? Buy one, get one free. If you win the raffle, you get one more for free. How about this idea, sir? I think if they did that, everyone would lose. If I may have a word with you, Francisca, I don't think you have the time for idle chatter. You still need to prove to me that your hypothetical situation is in fact reality. If you spot anything off, you come and tell me right away, okay, pal? Roger, sir. It's rather unusual for Gumshoe to be so directing. He must outrank this officer. If you run into any trouble, you just leave it up to me, okay? Yes, sir. Ah, watch out, Detective Gumshoe. Ow! Scruffy, I think your ego is in need of some deflating. I was following in your footsteps, sir. I will try patronizing my subordinates. Cruel and unforgiving to the detective, even in front of his own subordinates. Mr. Hicks was actually an Interpol agent. That is so cool. I can't believe he was from Interpol, the adventure, the glamour, and the miraculous big escape when you get caught by the enemy. Except in this case, there was no big escape, and no miracle. How the hell am I going to appease this guy? Good job, officer. Mr. LeBlanc is certainly not an easy person to pull back. No thanks necessary, sir. It's all part of the job, even if we did eventually get by. Well, I have a few things to ask him anyway, so it worked out in your favor this time. Thank you very much, sir. Next time I'll be sure to not let anyone through. Even if it takes my life in the process, sir. I appreciate the sentiment, however, we can't have people getting hurt on the job either. Yes, sir? Notice anything? This cargo hold is really big. I can't believe they can fit stuff like that in here. Detective, what are you going on about? We're in the middle of an investigation here. Whoa, stuff's falling on me. Ooh, I can't really get into my work without something like this happening first. Well, let's get the show started on the road. So which item do you want to start on? In this world, there are those who are masochistic, and then there is Gumshoe. Cause of death. Man, I can't believe Mr. Hicks fell to his death. I never would have guessed in a million years. That is still only a hypothesis. However, the investigation should prove it to be true. Speaking of falling, I'm glad the art guy is okay. He took quite the spill. Yes, he was lucky to have landed on top of that piece of cargo. Yeah, I can just see it now. Passenger pays price for police foul up. Did Prosecutor Edgeworth add fuel to the fire of the first murder with the second death? Yep, I'm willing to bet that it'll make the front page. That's not funny, detective. Valuable artwork. What exactly is an extremely valuable piece of art, sir? Is it like the stuff you see at county fairs? Somehow I get the impression that it's worth a lot more than you can comprehend. This thing is worth more than I can imagine, huh? Ooh, it kind of makes me want to try collecting expensive art. Collecting expensive art? Interesting. Seems there are people out there besides Mr. LeBlanc who know the true value of art. Huh? Are you talking about me, sir? Of course not. Where did you get an idea like that? What a waste. How horrible to see a priceless piece of cloth soiled. I assure you it wasn't me. I believe it to be the work of the killer. I will teach that killer a lesson. You can be sure I will. It will be the LeBlanc Revolution. I think he meant the LeBlanc Retribution, but either way, it sounds intimidating. Maybe I have to do something logic. Agent Hicks was on the trail of an international smuggling ring. Mr. LeBlanc claims to have brought a piece of art from Europe. Oh! I'm an idiot. Why didn't I do this before? If Mr. LeBlanc has something to do with the smuggling ring, then it's possible this fake statue was brought on board in Zhengfa. I think I need to question him a bit further. Finally. Fake statue. About your statue, Mr. LeBlanc, I wonder if it might be a fake. What? How dare you say my art is fake? I suspect that your statue might be the target of an international smuggling ring. Don't say such fantastical things. Those thieves would not dare. I have the certification of my cargo right here. You mean the cargo certification document? Mr. Zinc LeBlanc, why didn't you say so earlier? Please show it to us at once. I can't read this. What does it say? It says as plain as day, the cargo was put onto the plane in Europe. And there you have it, Miles Edgeworth. Too bad for you. The statue was brought on board in Europe just as it states in the certificate. No, that's... Which means that there never was a window of time in which the statue wasn't sitting there. On board in Europe. I respectfully disagree. We can't discount the theory until I see the statue for myself. Then you can have your wish. Look at it yourself and see I am right. This, I know I've seen this somewhere before. This is a leaf red. It gives us such a feeling of art. I can practically smell it. The statue has a high amount of historic value. After it was unveiled at a museum in Europe, I brought it to this country to exhibit it. Piece of art being shipped by Mr. Blanc, who claimed that it's worth 10 million cents. I believe a closer look is warranted here. So this is the infamous leaf red statue. What is it, Mr. Edward? Did you find something? There's something wrong with this picture. We should examine it in more detail. Actually, can I check something? It's red eyes, but it's yellow in this. This. And is this spot something connected to any of the evidence I hold? Let me see this again. Present. These eyes are awfully orange, don't you think? Yeah, and pretty. They remind me of sunsets when I was in grade school, sir. I don't think you see what I'm talking about. No, I do, but it's really like the color of the sun when it's setting, sir. Ah, the memories. I remember standing out in the field, spinning with my arms out until I felt ill. Come true, this is not the time. I don't care about sunsets. Focus, detective. What color are the eyes in this photo? Huh? Ah, sir, they're red. As I thought, this statue is a fake. Mr. LeBlanc, what do you want? Do you know that? Do you not know I'm a busy man? I'll allow you 2 seconds for your answer. The leaf red. I suppose this is your pride and joy, is it not? It's the biggest trophy on this European trip. Do you know why I want to possess this statue? The trigger started 17 years ago. Better grab a chair, sir. Sounds like this is going to be a long story. Mr. Blanc, I regret to inform you, and you have my heartfelt sympathy, but... What is that? Sympathy? For what? You'll see. I'd like you to compare the eyes. That large fellow there has very bright and pretty eyes compared to you. I wasn't talking about the two of us. I meant the eyes of the statue in front of you and the one in this photo. Why the sudden yelling now then? Oh! It is a photo of the statue on display at the museum in Europe. No! Now do you see, Mr. LeBlanc? The statue before it is a fake. A fake? I believe that even further examination will be required. Now that we have confirmed that this is indeed a fake, there must be some sort of proof that this was brought on board in Zhengfa, and I will present to you evidence that will resolve this remaining contradiction. What? There's remaining contradiction? I mean, the head is bigger. Does that make... Wait, what do I have to deduce? The jewels in the eye sockets, they were made to look just like real gems. So you mean these aren't real? Do you really think the forgers would base that kind of money on a replica? I guess not. Oh, I just got a really great idea. I can probably find some rocks down by the river I can polish up to look like real jewels. I think I'll try that out and give one to Maggie as a present next time. I wonder if he's serious, and I wonder if I should try to stop him if he is. Okay, what do I deduce? The head? So this leaf red is a fake. That art dealer isn't looking too happy about it either, sir. I will get to the bottom of this for his sake as well as mine. What do I deduce? I don't get it. Oh, wait. No, I was thinking of something, but no. What's this? The statue looks like it's stepping all over its neighbor's cloth cover. It kind of resembles its own attitude in a sense. Ho ho! You, what did you say now? Further, my clothing hem is not being stepped on by anyone. It is too expensive for me to allow that to happen. Please forgive the trespasses out of my subordinate. Why should I forgive if the dress passes? Unless it is an expensive dress, he would keep it. Okay, so maybe deduce this and say that because it's a Zhengfa Express thingy, that means it has to be had loaded in Zhengfa. Okay, I probably would. It was loaded on board during the refueling between. Yeah, I'm gonna present this. Yep, there's clearly a contradiction here. Oops, sorry. What are you going on about? It's just a simple case of a cargo cover getting stuck under another piece of cargo. Ah, that's not possible. But it is. It shouldn't be this way, but the statue is on top of the cloth. Supposing that the neighboring piece of cargo was brought on board in Zhengfa, there is no way that any part of it should wind up under something from Europe. Which means that this fake statue was smuggled on board in Zhengfa. But then what about the cargo certificate? Let me ask in return about what about Agent Hicks? Why did he come down here in the middle of the flight? There is only one reason why, to secure proof of smuggling activity aboard this flight. So you say, but I don't believe he had to do that mid-flight. We could have just as easily inspected all of the cargo after the plane landed. That may be true, however. You have it backwards, Francisca. Sure, Agent Hicks could have waited until after the plane had landed, but he had a reason for coming down to the cargo hold. Suppose he had found the fake at the airport, it would have been after the swap had occurred. At that time, the suspicion would actually fall onto the statue's owner. You would have no way to prove that the statue was switched without his knowledge, which means there is someone involved who's forging or modifying cargo certificates. Investigation complete. Nice. I guess the victim knew the real version of this was going to get nabbed, huh? Yes, while this photo could be seen as nothing more than a simple souvenir, it was in fact taken to be used as a reference document later on. Next, Agent Hicks had to secure proof that smuggling had taken place. He came down here to take a picture of the cargo hold, as a rather empty one at that right before the fake statue could be loaded on board. A photo of the hole missing a valuable piece of cargo would have been proof enough. After that, all he had to do was hold the Zhengfa cargo crew and arrest the smuggler. Exactly, this only goes to prove my theory. If the statue was not in the cargo hold during the Europe, Zhengfa leg of the trip, there would have been enough height from which Agent Hicks could have fallen to his death. Officer, move the statue immediately. I want a thorough examination of the floor underneath, now. Miss Von Karma, I'm ready to report my findings. Go on. After moving the Alif red statue out of the way, we tested the area under it with luminol and there was a reaction. I see, there was a reaction to luminol, an indication that there was blood in that spot. Can we stop looking at it now, sirs? It would seem that my deductions were correct after all. I suppose it would appear that way. The culprit cleaned the blood up well. And how do you think the killer did that? How did the killer clean up all the blood? The scarf.
Take that!
The killer used the bloody cloth I found inside the suitcase to clean up the mess. I see, they had a need to clean up all the blood before the plane landed in Zhengfa. Yes, because otherwise the cargo crew would have discovered it during the layover. So you guys are saying that the murder happened before the plane landed in Zhengfa? There is no other conceivable timeline for the events of the murder. But if that is true, then that throws a certain person's testimony into doubt. If the murder occurred before we landed in Zhengfa, then this becomes highly suspect of Miss Mail. Recall Miss Meal's testimony about Agent Hicks in regard to when we departed Zhengfa. I saw Mr. Hicks sitting in his seat at 5 AM, you know. She claims Agent Hicks was alive at the time of the service calls, but that totally contradicts the facts, sir. But why would she lie about something like that? I think the only person who can answer that is Miss Meal herself. To be continued. Yo, these are long. What the fuck? I thought it was gonna be short. Okay, I didn't think it was going to be short, but I didn't think it was going to be that long. Okay, we're going to be continuing though. Okay, we're going to be accusing Cammy Meal for the murder of... I can't remember his name. The Interpol guy. And I knew it from the start. She was suspicious as hell. March 12th, 3:35 PM. Flight G390, lower deck. Cargo hold. Miss Meal. Miss Meal! Huh? Do you recall what you said earlier? About when you answered some service calls as we were departing from Zhengfa? Huh? You said that Mr. Hicks was sitting in his seat at that time. However, that is simply not possible, because Mr. Hicks was dead long before we ever touched down in Zhengfa. Oh? Miss Cammy Meal! Maybe I didn't see what I thought I did. No one could make a mistake so large, Miss Meal. But I make that kind of a boo-boo all the time. Ugh. This is going nowhere. There must be a better way of resolving this contradiction. Very well, Miss Meal, if you please, tell me about your alibi during the time span. From just before we were to land at 3 AM and 6 AM when the body was found. Are you telling me I'm a suspect, Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, we're telling you that. You piece of shit, Miss Meal's alibi. Yeah. From 3 to 4, I was, in the flight attendant's room, all by my lonesome self. Yeah. And from 5 to 6, I was, in the flight attendant's room, all by my lonesome self. What the hell, man? How is a man supposed to react to a testimony like that? Miss Meal, wake up! Dude, we gotta slap her up. She fell asleep again. Looks like the only way I'm gonna be able to wake her up is by pressing her. Rebuttal time! It's gonna be annoying. Yeah.
Hold it!
Miss Meal, wake up! I'm awake. Miles Edgeworth, I demand that you do something about this flight attendant this instant. Francisca, use her whip! Why ask me to wake her up when you can finally put that whip to an appropriate use? From 3 to 4 hours, I'm in the flight attendant's room all by my lonesome self. If I remember correctly, food was being served in first class in the lounge between the hours of 3 and 4 AM. Yeah, but that kind of stuff's run by Miss Rhoda. Then what were you doing in the attendant's room at that time? Eating and then having a most delicious dream. You mean you were neglecting your duties? No way, sleeping's part of our job too, you know. Yeah.
Hold it!
Miss Meal, how many times do I have to repeat myself? Wake up! I'm awake. Hey, why are you shaking, Gumshoe? Oh, what did you whip me for, sir? Oh, what did I miss? A poor detective being on the receiving end of a lash in your stead. Really? Sorry about that. You can make amends for that by continuing with your testimony. And from 5 to 6 hours, I'm in the flight attendant's room all by my lonesome self. So you were alone the entire time, were you? Yeah, no one else even popped their head in to say hi. Oh well, I think a contradiction just popped in to say hi. What should I do? Should I raise an objection? I think it's the receipt with that Rhoda gave us. Miss Meal, there's a clear contradiction embedded in your testimony. Huh? What are you talking about? It's not possible that you were alone in the attendant's room the whole time from 5 to 6 AM. It's wait, sorry, always press the wrong one. It is this. 5:40 AM. Bought at the in-flight shop and left in attendant's room.
Take that!
I wonder if you would be so kind as to take a look at his receipt, Miss Meal. Huh? A receipt? For what? It's for the suitcase Mr. Nero bought. Now, if I may direct your attention to this timestamp, as you can see, it clearly says 5:40 AM. Mr. Nero. Yes! Huh? Why is the killer here? I thought you'd have her locked up by now. I requested that she be present as a witness so that we may straighten out your complex lie. Now then, Mr. Nero, between the hours of 5 and 6 AM, you took a trip from first class down to the first floor in-flight shop, correct? Yes, I went to the shop to buy a suitcase, after which I went straight to the attendant's room to drop it off. And did you see Miss Meal there at that time? No. So, Miss Meal, where were you really between the hours of 5 and 6 AM? Miss Cammy Meal! Huh? And, the bathroom? I'll be the one to ask the questions here. Yeah, maybe that's it. I probably just missed her. Nature calls, you know. You take me for a fool? That's a little too convenient to be true. But it's the truth, cross my heart. I don't have enough conclusive proof to counter-argue her at this stage. You don't have to leave me, do you? But please, won't you give me a chance and hear me out? Reason for suspicion. Look, I know you suspect me because I'm one of the crew. But you think that maybe you should also suspect Miss Rhoda too. She's the one in charge of the elevator keycard and the shop, you know. If you ask me, that makes us super suspicious. Please leave Mr. Nero out of the conversation. Only you are under suspicion for now. I don't get it. Why are you covering for Miss Rhoda all of a sudden? Oh, now I get it. Maybe you've got your eye on Miss Rhoda. Of course I'm keeping an eye on her. I can't very well let her escape, can I? Never mind. But you want to know something? Edward is too gay, okay? He doesn't think about things like that. He only thinks about Phoenix. Miss Rhoda actually kinda I have absolutely no interest in people who can't appreciate my sense of design. Now's not the time for this sort of talk. Okay, no, especially because I'm one of the crew, yes? No, it's not the only reason I have for suspecting you. Your statements regarding Miss Hicks also turned out to be a bunch of lies. Ah, but you say I was an attendant. You wouldn't suspect me then, would you? Yes, I suppose that's true enough. I think maybe we should also suspect Miss Rhoda too. She's already being detained for further questioning, or have you already forgotten? Oh, yeah, guess I just forgot. Cammy, don't tell me you suspect me too. Sorry, can't help it. I mean, other than you, there's no one else who could have done it. Can't believe you would think that. I mean, me, a killer? She's jealous of Rhoda. Miss Meal, what did you mean just now by no one else could have done it? She's the one in charge of the elevator key card and the shop, you know.
Hold it!
And what are you in charge of, Miss Meal? I take care of the attendance room. That doesn't count. Oh, but I spend so much time in there. It might as well be my responsibility. Mr. Edgeworth, Cammy is very talented in languages. She assists passengers who may not speak English, especially those who speak Virginian. She's the only one on this flight who is fluent. Oh, you mean that kind of what am I in charge of? Why didn't you say so in the first place? What else could I have meant? Yeah, somebody good at Virginian. He's fluent in Virginian? I suppose you're in charge of processing documents in Virginian? Yeah, I take care of anything that has to do with Virginian. Very interesting. Okay, you're gonna show that document probably. If you ask me, that makes you super suspicious. Actually, your on-the-job behavior makes you super suspicious in my eyes. Huh? But why? While Miss Tenero is busy with the passengers and all of her other duties, you have a lot of free time on your hands, thus providing you with ample time to commit the crime.
Objection!
Miles Edgeworth, I demand that you cease and desist in this kind of conjectural questioning. I will allow you to bluff your way through this like a certain defense lawyer. Phoenix! But I do not honestly believe Miss Meal does any actual work aboard this flight. Well, that's not true, Mr. Edward, although, well... all I'm in charge of are the attendance room and some Virginian stuff.
Hold it!
So what exactly do you do as the one in charge of some Virginian stuff? I do stuff like translate things from and into Virginian. Cammy is the only member of the crew who understands Virginian, Mr. Edgeworth. Miss Meal, I take it then that it's your job to process all the Virginian paperwork? Yeah, see, I totally pull my weight around here. So it would appear. Perhaps I should ask her for a few more details about her work and... Miss Meal, it's very unladylike to push suspicion onto someone else. That's not what I'm doing at all. I'm just saying that Miss Rhoda is very sus. There you go, pushing everything onto her again. I don't get what you're saying. It must be a really abstract concept, huh? The only thing abstract here is the landscape inside your head. Okay, got it. Present. This one. Document in Virginian. Says statue was loaded on board, but statue is fake.
Objection!
So you are the only one in this flight crew that speaks Virginian. Is that correct? Oh, yeah, I guess so. I studied abroad in Virginia for a while. Bruh, come on, get up. If that is the case, then the signature on this document belongs to you, doesn't it? This is a falsified piece of documentation with only one purpose. To lead anyone who read it to believe that Mr. LeBlanc's statue was loaded in Europe. The only person who could have either prepared or processed this document in Virginian is you, Miss Meal. Without your participation, the smuggling of the Adif Red could not have occurred. Don't sleep while I'm pointing my finger at you. Oh, she's awake now. Oh, I wouldn't dream of falling asleep on you, Mr. Edgeworth. It's exactly as you say. Are you confessing to having participated in the smuggling? No, far from it. It's true that I was the one who signed off on that document. But you can't use that fact alone to make your allegation of smuggling stick. There is no direct correlation after all. All you have is my signature on a piece of paper. Really? All you did was sign it? I neglected to check if the cargo had been loaded onto the plane properly. So, sorry about that. Seems that she's finally woken up. This is going to be one tough fight. Suppose, and this is just a supposition, even if I was involved in smuggling. You can't throw the charge of murder on me just like that.
Objection!
If you were involved in smuggling, you would have a strong motive to kill. Agent Hicks was in the middle of an investigation regarding a smuggling ring, and just when he was about to close in, he's killed by a member of that ring. Well, did you ever stop to think that maybe Rhoda is the smuggling ring member? After all, unlike me, Rhoda has access to many things on this plane for work purposes. So perhaps there is some element of a setup at play in this case. What are you talking about? Don't worry, I wasn't talking about you, I meant the killer. First it was myself, and now it's Miss Dinero who's under the microscope. Seems to me that our killer is going to great lengths to pin this crime on anyone they can. You have no proof that Rhoda is being set up or that she isn't. Actually, I believe that she was indeed the intended target from the very beginning. I believe that the plan was to push all the blame for the crime onto her. And this evidence will prove my suspicions. This proves that the killer was out to frame Miss Dinero from the very beginning. Wait, I'm not sure. Is it this? Ugo Piggy Bank. It's probably this, right?
Take that!
Okay, no, this will answer all of our suspicions. Are you sleep presenting or something, Mr. Edgeworth? No, as you can plainly see, I'm wide awake. Then I'm afraid you failed. You were making so little sense that I thought maybe you were asleep. Talk about a Dr. Sleepy, Mrs. Hyde-esque transformation. Okay. Is this it? But wasn't there a piece of evidence that's still unaccounted for? I need to stay calm, think carefully, and then present the condemning evidence. This proves that the killer was out to frame Mr. Nero from the very beginning. The bloody cloth is found inside. Highly likely the killer got this from the cargo hold. Goyu suitcase, probably. I thought it was the Goyu suitcase, but I thought, what if like she was, because the Goyu, the in-flight shop was, what do you call? What was her name? Tinero was the one who looked after it, so I thought first that, but it could be this.
Take that!
The killer could have hidden the body anywhere, and yet they chose the suitcase. Why is that? Perhaps it was to move the body up from the lower deck to the first floor. However, why go through the trouble to do so? The only way all of these actions make sense is if the killer had wanted to frame Miss Dinero for the murder. Miss Dinero buys a suitcase on every flight she works without fail. But should her suitcase be switched with the one containing the victim's body, that would put her in a very tight spot. Unfortunately for the killer, the turbulence put an end to that plan. There was enough time to put the body back into the suitcase. Ergo, they made do with whoever was at hand, adapted their plan, and tried to frame me as I lay unconscious on the floor from the turbulence. The killer then went to hide the suitcase in the in-flight shop and brought the piggy bank back to the elevator in order to fabricate a false weapon. A lot of work for a fruitless endeavor, wouldn't you agree? Sounds like the killer had a tough time too, huh? I mean, why did the killer need to frame someone that badly anyway? That is because of the special circumstances surrounding this particular case. What special circumstances dictated the need for the killer to frame someone? I think it should be when the murder took place, but I'm not sure. My brain hurts, man, sometimes playing these games. When the murder took place, because she then fabricated that she saw him at 5, but she did not. Okay, no, it's the first one. The murder took place before the movie was scheduled to go on. Around that time, almost all of the passengers had returned to their seats. Therefore, the killer had to choose someone who was not at their seat to frame. Isn't that explanation of how the killer chose who and not why they had to? Well, I thought it's best to start from there. If you're gonna talk about completely unrelated matters, do you mind if I take a nap? I'm so sorry, man. Hold on, I'm just getting to the meat of my argument. What special circumstance dictated the need for the killer to frame someone? The special circumstance is simply that the murder took place on a plane mid-flight. No matter, okay, it meant in that way, oh. No matter which country's customs is quite strict in this day and age. So no matter what you do, the chances that the body will be found is very high. Therefore, there was no choice but to frame either Miss Dinero or myself. In other words, the only one who fits within the boundaries of the criminal's movements is not Miss Dinero or myself, but you, Miss Cammy. Only you and you alone could be the killer. Yeah. And? Are you done already? I was about to fall asleep again. Anyway, let's be honest here. You don't have anything on me other than a whole lot of circumstantial evidence. Ooh, the music changed. I can see the outline of how the murder occurred, but I have no definitive evidence. And isn't there a piece of evidence that's still unaccounted for? Something that I still can't quite fit into the big picture. It's the phone. It's the phone, I think.
Take that!
I don't have any actual evidence. I thought not. But that's because it went missing and still is. Missing? What do you mean by that? In the complex puzzle that is the case, there was one piece I kept getting stuck on, and that is the victim's cell phone. Francisca, you were waiting at the airport for a phone call from Agent Hicks' cell phone, or at least that's what you told me. That's right. But Agent Hicks' cell phone could not be found at the crime scene. You mean the killer took the phone with them? Precisely. I suspect that if we were to find that phone, it would lead us to the killer. Haha, come on, get serious. If the victim fell to his death from that height, wouldn't his phone break as well? You won't know that until we try the experiment, will we? Francisca, I'd like to ask for your assistance. You know the victim's phone number, do you not? Of course I do. Let's go, let's go. Agent Hicks' phone is ringing from somewhere, sir. I hear, detective. Now where is it coming from? Miss Meal, wake up! Sorry, Mr. Edgeworth. I get sleepy all of a sudden because it sounds like a lullaby I used to love as a child. I better find the cell phone fast. Sounds like the phone is up in the flight attendant's room. You better hurry to the flight attendant's room, sir. Oh, it's over there. Okay, I didn't realize. Oh, run. March 12, 4:12 p.m. Flight G390, first floor, flight attendant's room. The ringing's coming from somewhere in here. Oh, it's in the dustbin. Leave no stone unturned, Detective Gumshoe. We must find it. It's here. Wait, Gumshoe, can you move? Yeah. It doesn't seem to be over here. Then let's look at somewhere else, sir. I feel like it's here. I thought the red thing was the dustbin. I guess not. It doesn't seem like the phone got mixed in with the items in his lost and found pile. Well, it's not like the victim would have just dropped it somewhere, right, sir? I wonder if it might be inside the suitcase? I don't hear any sounds coming from inside, sir. I don't suppose the culprit would have been so dumb as to try the same trick twice. The ringing is coming from somewhere around here. But it's not here, sir. Why do I have such a bad feeling about where we're going to find the phone? What about this? This is the emergency control panel for the elevator. The switches are currently set to 1F open. 1 floor open, which means that right now it's stopped on the first floor with its doors wide open. The ringing is coming from in here, sir. What? No, it can't be. Oh no, this has got to be the victim's cell phone. Just whose locker is this, sir? It's Mr. Nero's. What? Oh no. March 12, 4:28 p.m. Flight G390, lower deck, cargo hold. So, Mr. Edgeworth, how did it go? Where did you find the phone? I found it in the flight attendant's room, in Mr. Nero's locker. What? But... Rhoda De Niro. I don't know anything about the phone. It wasn't me. Miss Von Karma, is it? I suggest you arrest Miss Rhoda De Niro right away. Wait, I have a theory. This is related to the incident with the keycard. When the killer went to steal the keycard, they conveniently stashed a cell phone in Mr. Nero's locker at the same time. This is related to the keycard, alright. In the same way that we have zero proof that the killer did just that. The only voice that sings the truth is evidence. That is the one word we cannot ignore. What should I do? Francisca's right. I can't offer baseless conjectures at this point. Alright then, why did the culprit take the cell phone from Agent Hicks? It must have something very incriminating on or in it.
Hold it!
What now, Miss Edgeworth? It's not over yet. We have yet to figure out why the killer took the phone. What? Inside this phone lies the final piece of incriminating evidence that will point us to our killer. We need to examine this phone in more detail. The LCD is broken. Without a screen, you can't even place a call with this. Ah, it's a camera lens. Come to think of it, I wonder, how exactly was Agent Hicks trying to preserve the crime scene of our smuggling? Francisca, I need you to confirm something. This cell phone, can it take pictures? Mr. Edgeworth, I can't believe you don't know about this kind of basic stuff, sir. This looks like a very similar model to my own. And mine can take photos just fine. Do you think Agent Hicks could have taken some pictures with this? In particular, pictures as evidence for his smuggling case. If so, I'll say there may be some very inconvenient photos in here for our killer smuggler. But the phone's all busted up, sir. Even a super prosecutor can't repair a broken phone. Ugh, I'll find a way, don't you worry about that. Ah, may I go back to sleep now?
Objection!
The LCD screens on the inside and outside are broken, that's for sure. But that's also reason enough to believe that the killer wasn't able to erase the data. What? What do you mean by that, Francisca? It looks like the killer isn't very familiar with electronics. This phone still rang when I called it, meaning that only the LCD screens are broken. It's possible that the photos are still there inside, waiting to be accessed. All we need to do is transfer the data to my phone. Francisca, your phone, if you please. Very well. It's transferring. Alright, displaying it now. This is... Agent Hicks was most certainly trying to obtain some evidence for a smuggling case. Hey, the LZ threat's nowhere in this pic, sir. But this has no meaning as a piece of evidence in this murder case, right? Oh, she's right. There's not much we can find out from this about Agent Hicks' killer, right? Is this it? Is this the end? Is there really nothing in this photo that we can use? The fact that all of the suitcases are here in this photo is odd. Agent Hicks was still alive at the time. So what exactly is so odd about suitcases that haven't been used yet being there? Yes, well, I was only pointing out things that are different between now and then. Your off-topic ramblings have put this attendant to sleep yet again, Miles Edgeworth. I'll give Sleepyhead here a rude awakening, a deafening objection, a contradiction. Okay, there's a lot... Wait. The guardrail. It looks exactly the same as it does now. The rail is entirely too low. I even almost fell to my death. However, I was saved in a miracle-like manner. Perhaps that is what to run away from death by the skin of one's gum means. Try to narrowly escape death by the skin of one's teeth, Shakespeare. Now then, there must be something in this photo. What's all this? Oh, they are cargo shipped from Virginia to Zhengfa. The reason they aren't here now is that they were dropped off in Zhengfa. Mr. LeBlanc, can you tell me the contents of the boxes? Unfortunately, there is no English written on them anywhere. One cluster of boxes is written in Virginian. It says it is cloth in English. Cloth? Could it be... Is this where the killer... Oh, wait, what for is that scary face? Miss Meal? Yes? It appears that Agent Hicks was no ordinary investigator. He left us with a piece of evidence, after all. A striking piece of that will point at who this killer is. Ha! Maybe you shouldn't force your mistaken reading off a simple picture, Mr. Edgeworth. The Virginian cargo and this piece of evidence will point us straight to the killer. This?
Take that!
Okay. And what is that supposed to prove? The killer used this piece of cloth to wipe up the blood they had spilled. But there was one thing that bothered me this whole time. Where did it come from? And now I have finally found my answer in this very photo. The cargo that was unloaded in Zhengfa had cloths written on it. In Virginian, that is. And this is where the killer grabbed a piece from to clean up the blood with. That's right. The killer was someone who could read and understand Virginian. And the only crew member that fits that description is you, Miss Cammy. Hold it. Ha, that's pretty flimsy. The killer probably searched through all the boxes looking for something to use. When you're frantic, you don't care if the box is in English or Virginian. Sorry, but I cannot agree with your assessment of the killer's indiscriminate nature. What? There was no need for the killer to tear through boxes at random at all. And if the killer supposedly could not comprehend Virginian, well then... Logically, the killer would have opened this box first. Bed sheets.
Take that!
Hey, it says bed sheets in English right on the box. Precisely, and bed sheets would be perfect for cleaning up blood, wouldn't you say? So what are you trying to say? That if I were the criminal, this box of bed sheets would have been what I would have spotted first. However, the killer chose to use some Virginian cloth. Do you have an explanation for that? The killer didn't want anyone to know that the real scene of the crime was this cargo hold. So they were afraid to leave signs that the box of the sheets had been opened. However, the Virginian cloth, well, that's a horse of a different color. Because the killer knew that it was going to be unloaded in the Republic of Zhengfa. That's right. This is why the Virginian cloth was used. And the only Virginian reader on board who could make such a calculated decision is you, Cammy. You and you alone. It would be very easy for us to confirm if any of the boxes were resealed. All we would have to do is contact the Zhengfa authorities in time. We may even find other evidence to incriminate our killer within those boxes. So what do you say, Miss Meal? Why not confess to your crime here and now? Or would you rather wait and see what we find out from our investigation in Zengfa? Oh no. Ooh, okay, let her suffocate from the bubbles. No! Bro, I'm actually happy the bubble was slapping her instead of... Francisco should have whipped her. The only person I've ever wanted Francisco to be whipped with her. He was... Oh, actually, no, there was another guy. He was a creepy guy, a doctor guy, I remember. He was Interpol. I couldn't stop it. I brought him here. He started taking pictures. I couldn't be found out. I was scared. I was in trouble. Well, you're an idiot. Goodbye, Cammy Meal. Man, the white screen is for very long. March 15, 5:26 p.m. Flight G390, first floor lounge. We've finished making all the arrangements to take the suspect in, sir. Very good, detective. What about the smuggling? Root, did she say anything about that? They're taking her down to the precinct now. Hopefully we can get more out of her there. Whenever we even approached the topic, she just started foaming at the mouth. It was scary, sir. She probably wasn't prepared to commit a murder all of a sudden. One thing is for sure, the ring behind this whole mess means serious business. It looks like there's a lot more to this case than meets the eye. De Niro! Mr. Edgeworth! I just wanted to say how much I appreciate everything you did. Thank you very much. It was nothing. In fact, I should be the one thanking you for your cooperation. But truly, if it wasn't for you, I might not be here right now. Instead, I can continue to serve our passengers as a flight attendant. I hope that, well, please accept this as a token of my appreciation. That's... I see. You don't have to take it if you don't want it. No, I mean, I would never turn down a lady's generous offer. Oh, thank you. I'm sure it will serve you well. And remember, we here at Go Airlines are always ready to serve, Mr. Edgeworth. Thank you. I'll keep that in mind. Now I must bid you farewell. May all your skies be blue, no matter where you go. Aww, bye, Tenero. It was fun. This case was fun. I love the roaming around. That's really fun. I can't believe we wound up investigating the whole day, sir, but boy was it fun. But I feel like I've become more stupid. I don't know why. I feel like the Great Ace Attorney, I was like locked in. There were very few times where I didn't understand what to do. Here I'm like, what? I'm like so confused. And sometimes it's literally, some are confusing, some are just my complete stupidity. Speak for yourself. My day was filled with earthquakes, elevators, and false charges. By the way, where's Francisca? Oh, she's filling out some customs paper for her departure. Departure? Yeah, Miss Von Karma's always really busy, sir. She's been flying from country to country to chase down some leads regarding her case. Detective, can you cancel the car I had to reserve earlier? You got it, sir. March 12, 5:47 p.m. Hope Springs Airport. Francisca. I thought I told you when you first landed. I have no time for idle chatter. I have no intention of wasting your time, however it has been a while since we last met. I also have no time for such familiar reminiscence. Just who do you think I am? You are Francisca Von Karma, a very proud prosecutor deserving of much respect. Until only a little while ago, I was but a stretched butt who was always losing to you. A dancing pirate living in her life on the name and fame her invincible father built. True, your father Manfred Von Karma didn't lose a single case for 40 years as a prosecutor. However, I wouldn't say he was invincible. What are you talking about? The group I'm on the trail of is a little more troublesome than most. The smuggling route we found this time is only one sliver of the big picture. Sounds like a dangerous assignment. You really don't have to worry, I can take care of myself. Yes, I suppose you can. Plus, there's another agent on this case with me. Oh, another agent? He's a star among Interpol agents and has the highest successful arrest rate. Who knows, you may even run into him one day. I'm simply caught up in this one case. I hardly see why we would cross paths. I suppose, but I doubt he would say the same. I'm not following you. You'll understand soon enough. The fight has only just begun, Miles Edgeworth. I'll be back in this country soon enough. And when I am, you can be sure I'll pay you back in full. Bye-bye, Francisca. And just like that, she's gone, huh, sir? Also, this is 2 days ago from the first case. Thank goodness I can finally rest easy knowing I don't have to watch out for her whip. Detective Gumshoe, I want to thank you for all your help and cooperation. Oh, it was nothing, sir. I was just happy to be able to work with you again. Oh. I think I'm going to celebrate by adding a little extra salt into my instant noodles tonight. Just how much do you cut his salary by, Francisca? Detective, I was wondering if you might give me a ride down to the prosecutor's office. Sure thing, sir. I'll even fly down the road in the patrol car if you want. Don't make me remind you, Detective. Safety first. Thus, I solved the first case upon my arrival home. Francisca won karma, the smuggling route she was after. The leaders of the ring had already put their trump card into play. And the players on the other side of this war, they would begin to make themselves known to the next incident. Ashworth speaking. Finally, I called who knows how many times earlier, but I couldn't get through. And you are... have you forgotten my voice, Miles, my boy? Oh, is it Manfred von Karma? Oh wait, no, Mr. Ernest Armano, correct? Oh, so you do remember me. I know it's rather sudden, but I can't ask this of anyone else. There's been an incident, Miles. My son, he's been kidnapped. Oh, who the hell is Ernest? Do I know this guy? Okay, the end of case 2. Yeah, case 2, episode 2 actually, but case 2, I'm gonna call case 2. That was fun. And also really damning to my stupidity. Man, I'm so stupid sometimes. There were like some things. Oh my god, the one which literally I think was the end for me was when those 4 options were given and I kept on pressing the wrong one, and then maybe I wasn't reading it properly, or it didn't comprehend in my brain properly, and the answer was so obvious. Next, we're going to be doing episode 3, the kidnap turnabout. A lot of turnabouts.